morning and God bless you, Patriots. Welcome to Patriot News Broadcasting. Illinois Jack reporting for duty on this Sunday morning, October 12th, in the year of our Lord 2025. We got a lot to talk about this morning, catch up on a few things. I especially want to talk about the 10 days of darkness, as you've heard of them, and my belief that they're coming in less than 2 weeks, and what exactly they are, because I don't think it's exactly what people think it is. On side note, President Trump will be leaving for Israel sometime this afternoon and arriving, I believe, sometime tomorrow. The hostages, the trade could come literally at any time, I hear, so that's a plus. And on top of that, we've got rumors that John Bolton is going to be indicted soon, and that we might be doing land attacks in Venezuela soon. So we're going to look at all of it here this morning. I'm doing a lot of updates on my Telegram page, by the way, and so I put the little link up there between Trump's finger and the Gideon's Army logo if you're interested in joining. A lot of the videos that we would have watched here after the news are now going to be found on Telegram, so it's a good thing to check out. I'm going to have a lot on there. My numbers keep going down. It says there's 12 watching, 1 watching, 0 watching. I figure there's at least one of you watching because you're in the chat, right? Let's look at a couple quick things here. Trump got his physical before he left, as you know, and this little part here that he added after the Walter Reed evaluation was released was interesting. In preparation for upcoming international travel, President Trump also received preventative health screenings and immunizations, including annual influenza and updated COVID-19 booster vaccinations. Bull. Sorry, I'm trying not to curse this morning. I mean, come on. I mean, really? Really? You really think he did that? You have to start really thinking about what you're hearing and start reading between the lines if you weren't doing that already. Elton John announced he's testing positive for COVID-19 at the same time, postponing all his Dallas concerts. Fortunately, I'm fully vaccinated and boosted. My symptoms are mild, he said. Is this some kind of hint that COVID's going to make a comeback as everything breaks throughout this month, because this month is going to get hectic? And I do believe we're going to see arrests here in less than 2 weeks, and I think those darkness days are going to be a part of that. We'll get to that. We'll get there. Thomas Massey says the surest way to scoop the world's best technical schools is to let feds tell him how to run it. Some of your senators, reps are getting mad about what Trump's doing with the schools and the demands and holding federal funds if they don't stop some of the weirdness and foreign things and yada yada. It's hard to know what to make of it, but when you look at this, just in the time that the illegals came in under Biden and the time now that Trump's gotten them all out, they used up $7 billion in Medicaid payments. That puts this shutdown in a little bit more perspective, doesn't it? When you realize just how much money they were using in healthcare, and then the Democrats still want them to have all that healthcare when a lot of us fight just to have healthcare. I knew veterans that fought till the day they died trying to get their money, so don't feel too bad for them on that count. The Democrats are on the warpath at the talk that they may lose a bunch of seats in the House, and we could be switching to this one-party system soon. Saying the party will not concede short of planes falling out of the sky. Really don't like the sound of that. You probably don't either. Looking at a couple of these from yesterday, stage being set, it definitely is. Sometimes public awareness of certain events prevents the occurrence. Sometimes public awareness of certain events forces accountability. We're going to see a lot of that, especially even with like John Bolton, who ties back clear to 9/11. You're going to see old doors opening up as things progress this month. This one was about being selected to help serve your country and never retreating from the battlefield, the digital battlefield. And we're seeing people retreat, like Laura Loomer. Sometimes I think Trump does things like announce the Qatari base here on American soil just to see who his friends are. And boy, it works, doesn't it? And moving forward, let's talk about what John Bolton is facing. Criminal charges against him could come as early as next week, as early as tomorrow, basically. The Maryland U.S. attorney is rushing charges, possibly bypassing a grand jury to move faster. Let's hear the story.
We're also following some breaking news out of the state of Maryland, where the U.S. attorney there is moving forward quickly to seek criminal charges against President Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton. Joining us now with her exclusive reporting, MSNBC senior investigative correspondent Carol Leonnig. James Comey, Letitia James, now John Bolton. Is this case different?
Yes, Katie, it is. Let me just give you the news first. Exclusively, we're reporting here on MSNBC that the effort to prosecute and bring criminal charges against Donald Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton, is moving very quickly, to the point that some believe this inside the office, that these charges will come as early as next week. We are also hearing that the office is considering whether to go to a grand jury or actually do something a little bit different, which is to file the charges in a formal court complaint. That allows the office to move more quickly. And we are awaiting word right now about exactly when that might happen. You asked, is this different? If Bolton is criminally charged, who will be the third person on Donald Trump's sort of targeted list of enemies to face prosecution and criminal charges in as many weeks? But the case is different because in the Eastern District of Virginia, where Comey and James were indicted, the prosecutors there, almost to a person, resisted the case. A U.S. attorney lost his job. It was pushed to resign under threat of being fired by Donald Trump for not wanting to pursue those cases. The prosecutors did not feel that there were facts to back that up.
John Bolton has been sharing a lot of information, classified information with a lot of people he shouldn't have been. Yeah, we're going to look at that in a minute. The 10 days of darkness, I think it just means dark times. I don't think it means power outage, internet outage. I mean, it's going to be dark days in American history. We'll get there. October 18th is being called a major setup day for Antifa terrorists to get arrested. That's the day of the No Kings protest, funded by George Soros, that will probably have the National Guard out, I imagine.
And then October 18th is when the protest gets here. This will be a Soros paid-for protest where his professional protesters show up, the agitators show up. We'll have to get the National Guard out. Hopefully it'll be peaceful. I doubt it as well. So I think that they have to get that march done. They have to show their protest. They have to fight like they're saying here. This is all a political show. It's all a political scam right now. This is shooting.
The funny thing is that the media is trying to tell you that Antifa doesn't exist. And in a way, they're almost partially right.
No Antifa. This is an entirely imaginary organization. There is not an Antifa.
Like, I don't even know what Antifa is. There is no group.
It's not even like far-right groups like the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers. Compared to right-wing extremists, Antifa-linked violence is rare and limited.
It isn't an organization. It is a in many ways mythology.
It's not like the Proud Boys or the Oath Keepers, sort of defined terrorist organizations with leadership that leads violence.
It's not a highly organized movement. It's a moniker. It's not a unified group like the Proud Boys are.
Things like Antifa are things that are thought up.
It's all in this guise of going after Antifa, which is nothing. There's no organization called Antifa.
Nobody's a member of Antifa because it doesn't exist. They are just declaring into existence something that doesn't exist.
There is no Antifa organization, so maybe that's good for social media, but it really is non-existent.
They exist on the internet in chat rooms and in 4chan and Discord and places like that, where they run discussion boards, trade tactics, documents, things like that. But none of them are called Antifa.
The thing is, Antifa is not an organized group as much as an idea, but a very well-funded idea, more well-funded than the Proud Boys or any of these actual organized groups. Organized funding you can go after, and, it doesn't mean an idea is not extremely dangerous. Anonymous was an idea, and it took down high profile people, with people just sitting in their basements at their computers. So don't dismiss Antifa because the news tries to tell you to. Elon Musk says in the near future, your Tesla is going to drop you off at the store entrance and then go park. And then when you're ready to leave the store, you'll come out, tap summon on your phone, and the car will come find you. That sounds pretty cool to me. I'm kind of lazy looking for parking spots, but President Putin said a couple things again about the Nobel. Somebody said, who owns the Nobel Prize? President Trump. I don't think that, but Putin says that they've lost credibility. The thing is, they never had credibility, and we all knew that. And really, Trump not winning just about will end the Nobel Peace Prize. No one will ever take it seriously again. It just lost its value. Former President Joe Biden undergoing radiation therapy for prostate cancer. People are wondering if they're gonna, pull a dead Biden on an important moment to stall something.
Former President Joe Biden has started radiation therapy to treat an aggressive form of prostate cancer. Biden announced his cancer diagnosis this past spring. Shortly after, he says he began a pill regimen to treat it. The National Institutes of Health reports prostate cancer is the second leading cause of death among men in the U.S. An estimated 300,000 plus cases will be diagnosed this year.
They're preparing you for Joe Biden's death. They love to use those state funerals for convenient times, get out of court, etc. We'll see where that goes. So far, no survivors have been found in Tennessee after an explosive plant exploded. We'll take a look at that and then some of the drone footage.
Tonight, at least 16 people feared dead following Friday's massive blast at an explosives plant in Tennessee. The sheriff visibly shaken, delivering the latest update.
Truly devastated. It's a tremendous loss, a great loss. And at this time, we have recovered no survivors.
Accurate Energetic Systems is a privately owned facility that processes ammunition and explosives. This is what the area looked like before the blast, and here's what it looks like today. The company says thoughts and prayers are with anyone affected by the incident. Investigators are now processing the half-square-mile debris field that they say remains extremely volatile. Medical personnel on standby just in case.
Is the public safe? Can we anticipate more detonations?
We are going to possibly have some of those that we're going to have to dispose of in some way, form, or fashion.
John Leshin lives 2 miles from the site. The cameras around his home capturing the explosion from all angles.
Those camera explosions were crazy, but for half a mile, there's just nothing left where that building stood. A literal bomb went off in Tennessee, basically. Sad day for the people that work there, the families, the community. A tragic situation. A quick note that Hollywood actress Diane Keaton passed away overnight at the age of 79.
I just want to bring you some sad breaking news now, and that is that the actress Diane Keaton has died at the age of 79. This is being reported by People magazine. She was famous for her roles in Annie.
Yeah, I'm not big on actresses and entertainment news, but I thought I'd throw it in there. Chuck Schumer says that every day gets better during the radical left shutdown. I disagree. If nothing is done because of leader Chuck Schumer and the Democrats, our brave troops will miss the paychecks they are rightfully due on October 15th, though Pete Hegseth has promised that they will make that happen. The Trump administration has confirmed thousands of federal employees received a reduction in force notice today across at least 7 departments and agencies. These were not furloughs. These people were fired. They were let go. So seems like Trump's doing some major downsizing right now throughout all this. Earlier, there was, or maybe it was last night, there was a helicopter crash on Huntington Beach, and the news thought it was so bad they were calling it a mass casualty incident before they knew anything. It turned out no one died in the crash, but all 5 people were hospitalized.
I changed his mind. Oh no, 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 no. Oh my God, oh my God. Oh my God.
What is the deal? You can't get in helicopters anymore either.
Start tonight with that helicopter crash in Huntington Beach. The chopper spiraling out of control and plunging into a row of palm trees as people looked on in horror.
KCAL News reporter Lauren Posen's been there for us all night. She's live in Huntington Beach now with new information on the crash. And Lauren, you're speaking with people who saw it all go down.
Well, to give you some context, when this crash happened, it was just after 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and the beach was packed. Witnesses say not only seeing the crash happen, but hearing it was absolutely terrifying. It's a little difficult to show you tonight because it's dark out, but that helicopter is still wedged in between those palm trees.
We haven't experienced this kind of aviation, this level of issues in aviation in decades, really. It's quite concerning. And I'm always dying to fly. French authorities found more than a dozen guns buried at a migrant camp ready to cross the border into Britain. French police say they were weapons of war. National emergency needs to be declared. This is the kind of stuff that's going to happen soon. When these arrests happen, the cities are going to go wild.
We start this hour with some breaking news. I can reveal that French police have just discovered a huge cache of weapons in a migrant camp near Calais. It's this camp, you might recognise it. You are a human trafficker, aren't you?
Are there?
Yes. Why are you bringing people illegally to Britain? Why are you illegally bringing people into Britain? Do you feel any kind of conscience about that at all? Do you feel bad about that at all? Or not? No? You don't? No? I think we can catch up with him, probably. Hello, come back. Stacked it. Anyway, police found more than a dozen firearms today, and what they are also describing as, and I'm quoting French police here, weapons of war. So it turns out that people had buried guns there. The cops got a tip-off, and 250 French police officers went in today and got them. But I know what you're all thinking.
You know, I think you guys are right about the helicopter. I think the palm trees probably saved their lives in that crash. And again, they're waiting on hostage exchange. It could happen any time now. Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, and Ivanka Trump all spoke in Hostage Square in Tel Aviv. Steve Witkoff thanked President Netanyahu and was booed for that.
To Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
It's not good when you get booed by your own people, is it? Not good at all. Ivanka delivered a message from President Trump.
The president wanted me to share, as he has with so many of you personally, that he sees you, he hears you, he stands with you, always, always.
Look at that crowd. They're chanting, "Thank you, Trump." That's awesome. It's going to be a historic day if the hostage trades go through today. That's really what all of this hinges on. Alpha Warrior put up a great post about the pretenders leaving the movement. The only people who ever walked away from the MAGA movement or stopped supporting Trump were pretenders from the very start. People are really mad about Laura Loomer and all this stuff. On the other hand, people like Candace Owens are freaking out, but we'll look at that. So Chuck Grassley recently put up a post. Today is day 10 of the Schumer shutdown, and when his post was all broken down and decoded, it pointed to a day, 6:59 a.m., 10 Days of Darkness, October 25th. But people are saying, does it really mean a shutdown of the internet or power or utilities or the things that we rely on to live? Some of those things, most of those things, there's backup systems now. But really, what I think it is I think those arrests are coming. They told us a few things about it. They warned us the crash would hit on a Friday before holiday weekend. The 24th is a Friday. 25th is the day Chuck Grassley's pointing out to. And then Halloween comes right after that. The same playbook they've used for decades to control panic, prevent bank runs, halt transactions, and quietly roll out the next phase of the financial system. I don't think that's what's going to happen unless it's a positive thing. If you watch Bo Polney recently, he really names very similar days about the rollout of a new financial system, or more about the end of our financial system. And he did a great episode you guys should try and catch. It's here on YouTube on Flyover Conservatives. And so, of course, some of that's, I don't want to say prophecy, but reading the numbers. Numbers I can't read very well, but I think those days, they're expecting everything to pop off in the cities after the arrests. Juan O'Sullivan's noted a few times he thinks those notable arrests will be at the end of October. I think when they happen, the cities will go wild. All the Antifa people are told to come out, protest, riot, burn shit down. I think it'll be 10 very dark days in American history, unlike any we've ever experienced. That's the kind of darkness I think that's ahead for us, not literal darkness. And now they've told you have groceries and stuff. Yeah, but definitely, because things could be shut down if everything gets so bad. Who knows? Trump could do Insurrection Act. We go into martial law. Few notable things here. President Trump says the entire Middle East will be rebuilt, not just Gaza. Gaza residents said that it was the first time in years that no bombs went off during the night. Imagine that, living like that, where you got bombs going off every night, and suddenly you get a good night's sleep. It's probably amazing. They also announced Hamas will not govern post-war Gaza. Hamas seems to be good with that at this point, though we're not totally clear on the details of disarming yet or how that will work. Israeli citizens are alleging a digital holocaust is unfolding on X as users expose and discuss the Israeli government's atrocities. It's all coming out. It's all out there. It's all on the table, and the people of Israel know it. And it's just, once you let this flood begin, it does not stop. They can hide it on the media, but it won't last forever. A couple money things I wanted to look at here. This is fascinating from Unusual Whales. A new crypto account was opened yesterday morning, 30 minutes before Trump's announcement of 100% tariffs on China. It added a huge multi-million-dollar levered Bitcoin short position. The market dumped. The trader made a profit of $192 million in a matter of 2 hours. And then someone wrote below it, it was Serial Brain 2. You guys remember who Serial Brain 2 is? He's kind of like And We Know or the X-22 report. He was around for a while. You still can find some of his stuff online. Same as Alpha Warrior. You can find him on Rumble and stuff. He's got great episodes talking about great things. And Jenny interviews him on her show every so often, but definitely look up Serial Brain 2 if you never heard of him. And then somebody kind of put up a comparison of the dollar value between now and 1971. In 71, $35 bought an ounce of gold. Today it takes about $4,000 to buy a single ounce. $4,000 at 35%, 114.3. So since the end of the gold standard in 71, the dollar has lost 99% of its gold value. So what cost $1 in 1971 would cost around $114 today, in theory. I'm sure you guys realize that. Like I said, Candace Owens is on the crazy path, saying once again that, to be clear, if she ends up dead, it was definitely the Zionists.
Do you think it's normal, by the way, that basically every person who speaks about Israel has to basically say a statement that's like, you know, I don't want to get killed? like literally, you start speaking about it, people are like, Candace, beef up your security. That's not fucking normal. Like, excuse my language, but like that is not normal. Okay, it's not normal that people have to think about their security because, and by the way, it's not normal that then the way that you get comfortable with it is you're like, well, you know, they shot JFK in an open car, so there's not, I mean, he's a sitting president. I mean, obviously my security doesn't really matter. If they want me, they're going to get me. That's not a normal thought process to have. We don't have that about any other country in the world except for the one that, you know, took over ours. And that's the truth, okay? We are an occupied nation. And if it's going to take women like having to speak up and say that to make permission, like to give permission to men to do the same, then I'm happy to be the first person, okay? I just want to be clear. Anything happens to me, blame the Zionists. Like 1,000% blame the Zionists. Like let that be my parting word.
Her parting word. It was kind of funny. Anytime someone talks about Israel, they're going to say, I don't want to die afterwards. It's hilarious. All right. Moving on from Candace Owens here. Mayor Johnson of Chicago is basically turning into some kind of resistance movement leader. What he's talking about right here is basically treason.
This is not about immigration. This is about a president who wants to enact authoritarianism in this country, where the rule of law doesn't apply to him and to one individual alone. And that's why I'm doing everything in my power to defend the people of this city and to lead a resistance that, quite frankly...
To lead a resistance to what he thinks is something going against the rule of law. Here's the problem. What Trump's doing is within the rule of law. He's lawfully doing what he's doing. So you leading a resistance against it is open rebellion. It's treason. And apparently they're too stupid in Chicago to figure that out. Trump announced this earlier today. I'm pleased to announce that the great Dan Scavino, in addition to remaining Deputy Chief of Staff of the Trump administration, will head the White House Presidential Personnel Office, replacing Sergio Gore, who did a wonderful job in the position and will now become the ambassador to India. So, pretty cool, huh? Dan the man, he's a busy dude. In Pakistan, they say 23 of their soldiers have been martyred, though the number seems to vary depending on the outlet. And 200 Taliban-affiliated terrorists have been neutralized on the Afghan side, while the number of injured is much higher. There you go. In recent clashes. Anyone need a dog? They're my babies. I gave the new one a bath. I've been calling him Ralph. I don't know. You know, Chubsy, Nibs, old Ralph. Anyway, let's take a look at Pakistan for a minute. This was the scene there.
Closer home, the breaking news that we bring to you, and Pakistan versus the Taliban firefight continues and rages on. 58 Pakistani soldiers were killed, 30 others were wounded. Taliban forces launched attack on Pakistan posts. New Kabul-Delhi Connect, Pakistan loses plot. That's what seems to be the case at this given point. Terror monster turns on its mate.
Why do I feel like Trump's behind this one? We might just get Bagram Air Base back without having to drop a fart in the wind even. I swear. That's why he was meeting with Pakistan. On top of that, the rumor is over 10,000 troops, Marines have been deployed to Puerto Rico, and forces from the 82nd Airborne deployed to Trinidad and Tobago near Venezuela. The War Department will soon take Caracas and arrest Maduro, who allegedly has been trying to make a deal.
Between the U.S. and Venezuela, the Pentagon is steadily amassing combat power in the Caribbean, signaling the potential for a much larger and longer-lasting campaign.
We'll see what happens with Venezuela. Venezuela's been very dangerous.
Some of the buildup has been intentionally noisy.
Make no mistake about it.
And posted on social media.
What you're doing right now, it's not training. This is the real world exercise.
But much of it has unfolded more discreetly, with assets moving around the theater. So here's what we know about the U.S. build.
Quiet, but not super quiet.
NBC News has learned that U.S. military officials are drawing up options to target traffickers inside Venezuela, possibly in a matter of weeks. That's according to 2 U.S. officials.
So it appears the pieces are in place for America to conduct higher-level operations inside Venezuela, which means the already massive armada of ships, Marines, and stealth fighters could soon do more than just ward off token resistance and saber-rattling from Venezuela's aging military.
You know, SG Anon talked about this like 6 months back, how we'd end up going to war with South America, and it sure looks like we're there and ready. We're just slowly moving our troops closer and closer. The rumor is Maduro has tried to flee the country several times and is unable to do so. So between that and him trying to bribe President Trump, it sounds like he's getting a little scared. The search for a suspect continues, or suspects, in Mississippi in a shooting that left 4 dead and 12 wounded over the weekend.
And the town of Leland, Mississippi is shocked tonight. This is caution tape sitting on the building right at an intersection of North Main and 4th Street. This is that exact spot where the Leland police chief confirmed with us that 6 people lost their lives, along with 12 others injured in a shooting that happened after homecoming during a celebration on this street. And several victims were rushed to different hospitals across Mississippi. Among them, the Hinds County coroner confirmed with us an 18-year-old boy who was airlifted to UMMC in Jackson, where he later died from his injuries. One witness, Washington County Supervisor Myla Brooks, says she was inside a building nearby when all this chaos unfolded.
I was on the inside. A young girl ran on in. She was crying. That's when we saw blood just falling from her. Of course,
we were told this chaos would pick up around homecoming time, and sure enough, to their word, it's happened. In Portland, they've had to divert all their airlift flights from the hospital due to laser threats again.
A local hospital is warning of service delays today because of a flyer that is reportedly circulating. It calls on people to shine laser pointers at police helicopters tonight as a supposed way to fight back against the federal activity surrounding the ICE facility in Portland. Because of this, OHSU Hospital says air ambulances, otherwise known as life flights, will not land there tonight. Instead, helicopters will land at other airports and then patients will be taken to the hospital. OHSU says that could add up to an hour of extra transport time, and they want to advise the public not only is this illegal, it is extremely dangerous.
It could literally cost someone their life just because these fools want to shine lasers at Border Patrol and stuff, and you got airlift getting in the way. We got enough medical helicopters crashing lately as it is, so why don't we just keep the lasers to ourselves? Maybe they should stop selling those powerful lasers. Anyway, the East Coast is already getting hit by this nor'easter, as it moves up the East Coast from the south. So far, it seems to just be making waves.
And we have an alert in place, a nor'easter setting and starting in on the East Coast. The rough surf already pounding the Outer Banks. We take you from Rodanthe through Buxton, where we have all of these homes right along the immediate coast at risk of crumbling into the Atlantic. We're going to be watching them closely as the waves continue to pummel on in as well. I'm Kiana Lewis here in New York City at our Fox Weather headquarters. We have Fox Weather's meteorologist Jane Menard, who's out in the elements. She's reporting this from Ocean City, New Jersey. Jane, where you are right now, you're kind of in a good sweet spot because you're feeling those impacts, but we don't have the full blast of impacts heading your way, as that's going to be the case this time tomorrow.
24 hours from now, total different scene. It's actually been quite nice today. We had a couple passing showers, downpours that maybe lasted at most 1 to 2 minutes, but we've had kind of breaks of sunshine, cloud cover. It's been breezy. You can see our top wind gusts right now upwards of about 23 miles an hour. We're going to double that as we get into tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night with this nor'easter that is going to continue to develop and deepen as it lifts its way up to the north. So big storm, big picture. I mean, we've been following this story all week long on Fox Weather, and here we are watching it come together in real time. We're already watching the coastlines in North Carolina get battered. Here's that low. You can see the lines of pressure, right? So that center, that deepening center where we have that circle just offshore Jacksonville, that's going to continue to lift up to the north.
So unlike many nor'easters, geez, it's not going to come with a lot of snow. It's actually probably fairly warm, but from Georgia to Maine, that frontal system's going to push in with 60-mile-per-hour winds overnight and into tomorrow. So if you're on the East Coast, beware. And I suppose if you're in the Southwest, you're probably getting that rain from the tropical storm. So all that being said, Patriots, that is your news for this morning. I've got a couple of videos I'll let play on the way out, sort of like, Figure I'm going to move my intros to outros for a while, see how that works. Other than that, as the day progresses, guys, watch for the hostage release. We'll see if that trade happens. President Trump, again, is leaving for Israel pretty soon this afternoon. We'll be watching tomorrow for John Bolton to possibly be indicted, and we will be watching Venezuela, all that. I'll be on tonight with more, and we'll see what's happening. So I hope you enjoyed a quick morning look at your news, my Patriot friends. I just wanted to give you a nice update on everything before the day got on and before it piled up for tonight's show. So I love you guys. I hope you have a really good day, and I look forward to seeing you again tonight. God bless you.
Is there a dream that you're still trying to chase, or have you reached all your dreams?
You're asking questions like you're a television comp. I thought I was just going to come out and play around the golf with you. And you're asking questions like I'm on television. Yeah, no, look, you become president. That's a dream, right?
Yeah.
Can't.
I don't think you
now you can. No, you dream now you want to be a great president.
Yeah.
Now you're president. Now your dream is to be a great president.
I think you're doing a pretty good job.
So in closing, I say, may God bless the souls of the fallen. May God bless the hostages and their families as they return home. May God bless the state of Israel. May God bless the United States of America. And may God bless Donald J. Trump, the greatest president the world has ever seen. Thank you.
And we're now starting to see a lot of these influencers panic. Melania Trump comes out and does a speech, which is very rare.
President Putin and I have had an open channel of communication.
She mentions the word back channels.
For the past 3 months, both sides have participated in several back channel meetings and calls.
Well, back channel takes us to the Q post that says back channels are important. Attacks will only intensify. You attack those who threaten you the most. Enjoy the show. Well, you're seeing panic kick in from certain individuals. Do people really believe the biggest scandal in modern US history will go unpunished? Scot-free. Look, back channels are important. Patriots stand at the ready, shields whine. Well, you're starting to see a lot of people whining, and I'm sure we're now going to find out that they are the shields. So one of those people is Jack Posmerbeck, which is on this post, and it says, ask yourself a simple logical question. Why are the majority of Q attacks by pro-MAGA supporters coming from AJ Mossad-backed and or AJ known associates? Look, why are we a threat to them? We knew that this type of attack was coming. Predictable, fake news. And it says attacks will only intensify. Well, we saw Jack Posmerbeck the other day with the important Antifa meeting, and he says this.
But Mr. President, we need to do something about this because I fear that the next one who could be killed could be sitting at this table right now.
We're in full control, so why would anyone fear for their life? And now we're seeing a lot of videos circulate from Cappy. Remember Cappy? Well, he's mentioned Jack Posmerbeck and another person, Laura Loomer.
Jack Posobiec, Gabe Hoffman, Mike Cernovich, Laura Loomer. They tried to set someone up that you know and love. They're fucking evil. These people are evil. These people are evil. They're unregistered foreign agents.
And that video is going all over the internet again. And look recently what Laura Loomer replied. He was a mentally ill man and now he is dead. Well, Laura Loomer's now freaking out as well because Pete Hegseth has just announced a partnership with Qatar to build a military base in Idaho, and you're seeing these people whine. Laura Loomer, look, never thought I'd see Republicans give terror financing Muslims for Qatar, a military base on US soil so they can murder Americans. I don't think I'll be voting in 2026. And it says, President Trump is an amazing man. I proudly voted for him 3 times. But if he allows Islam to gain ground in our country, all of his hard work and sacrifices will be wiped out by genocidal Muslims who seek to impose Sharia law in America and destroy the rest. And it says Islam equals death cult. We're in complete control and we're seeing these people freak out. Well, we come straight back to that post, attacks will only intensify. Look, it says, and look what Q says, you are witnessing a full panic attack by the fake news media and covert alternative media affiliates, which is foreign government. They cannot contain or defeat what they do not understand. Is any of this normal? Look, Watergate times 1,000, and it says attacks will only intensify. Logical thinking, it says ask yourself a simple question, why? And you can start seeing that a lot of these people have got other interests with foreign governments and they're all about to be exposed, and they've done all they can all this time to blend in. And now we're seeing the panic kick in. And as Q says, ask yourself a simple question. Why? We're in full control.
Hello, welcome to Heart of the City. I'm John Kennedy. Washington Square Park, Greenwich Village. It's a quintessential New York neighborhood. Like Crown Heights, Brooklyn, or Freshkill, Staten Island, Astoria, Queens. The neighborhoods we'll be visiting in tonight's program. This one has its own personality and unique flavor. And what it also has are some community heroes, folks who are taking action and making a difference in their community. They're bettering their lives and in some instances even saving the lives of the many people they meet every day. Historically, the game of chess was a military sport. The pieces have names.
Here's the ultimate irony, though. Charlie Kirk said, hate speech does not exist legally in America. By the way, I've always been on the same page. Look at the tapes over the decades. This has always been my thing. I never believed in the concept of hate crimes or hate speech. It's a thought crime. We didn't used to have it. They changed it, the liberals. And, so I've always been what I think, doesn't matter what side. Hate speech does not exist legally in America, says Charlie Kirk. There's ugly speech, there's gross speech, there's evil speech, and all of it is protected by the First Amendment, Keep America Free. Could you guys at least honor the person you're insisting that we honor by honoring his words?
En las calles de Caracas, donde el valiente va, el régimen oprime, pero no nos quebrará. Robaron nuestros votos, sueños de falsedad. To do something about these missing children grabbed by the perverts. Too many incidents, fast trial, death penalty. Should be public execution for all to see. You will end this bullshit fast.
The 27 bloodline families down, or 13 bloodline families down 27 days before you become president, with 13 special forces team all on the same time on Christmas Eve, the 103rd, 103, the opposite of 301, huh? Yeah. The 103 coincidence 103, politics 103, bullshit 103. But this is some politics 103 I can get behind because it's the 103rd anniversary of the Federal Reserve on Christmas Eve. That gave us that for a Christmas present, 1913. So in 2016, 27 days before he was sworn into office, he took down the 13 bloodline families. And when you take them all down and you have all their control files, you now control the most powerful people in the world that own the media. And when you try them and convict them and chip their ass so they can't run, and you chip their phone, you chip their computer, and you say play ball, or you've already had your military tribunal, we're going to take you down and kill you in 24 hours. If you mess with us, we run the news. We're in charge of the news. News 61, JFK Grace 61.
Found in my research for my book is Lyme disease wasn't a noticeable problem until the mid-70s. And what my research said is that there are actually 3 really virulent tick-borne diseases that showed up right around Lyme, Connecticut, at the mouth of the Connecticut River, which is right across from Plum Island, which was the U.S.'s anti-animal crop headquarters for the biological weapons program. So late 60s, the peak of the biological weapons program in the U.S., these 3 freaky diseases showed up. So that was Lyme arthritis caused by the spirochete. There was a rickettsia, which is Rocky Mountain spotted fever. And then there was a cattle parasite. It was the second time it was found in man in that area, called Babesia. And that's actually, I got Lyme and Babesia, which can be fatal, and it's a serious disease.
So so you have a cluster effectively of these 3 previously rare diseases right across the water from the U.S. government's biological weapons testing facility. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And, it's, if you're like working for the CDC and on the lookout for natural versus unnatural, disease outbreaks, having 3 new tick-borne diseases show up, extra deadly disease causing, than in the past, it would raise, it would get their attention, and there would be investigations, which is what happened.
That sounds like a crazy conspiracy theory to me, just because you have previously rare diseases show up all at once across from a biological weapons facility doesn't mean, so the CDC investigated this. What did they find?
Well, a housewife in Lyme, Connecticut, Polly Murray, was the first one to start documenting, and she started pounding on the doors of local health departments and the CDC. And it really took her 7 years before the CDC responded, and a doctor named Alan Steer showed up and started, from Yale. He's a CDC EIS officer, and started investigating it. And he figured out it was tick-borne, but he couldn't figure out the causative agent. And at that point, the U.S.'s #1 tick researcher, Willy Bergdorfer, a Swiss-American tick guy who was in NIH's Rocky Mountain Laboratory, came out to investigate. And that's where he found, the public-facing story is he found the spirochete. It causes this bullseye rash. He said that's what's causing all the disease. And the panic should stop. Just take 2 weeks of doxycycline and the problem will go away. But it didn't. And that's where my book took off. I started looking at the backstory and wondering what really happened. And people associated with that disease weren't acting in the normal way. Normally, when you discover a dangerous new disease, you say, oh, this is horrible. Give us money. We'll research it. But instead, it just became more and more secretive.
Yes.
Move on. Did you say that Lyme disease is highly likely a materially engineered bioweapon? I made sure I put in the highly likely. Did you say Lyme disease is a highly likely militarily engineered bioweapon.
I probably did say that.
Did you say that?
And that's what the developer of
I want all of our colleagues to hear it, Mr. Kennedy. I want them to hear it. You said yes. Did you say that exposure to pesticides?
Everyone calls themselves free traders, but they're all pirates. Some extort exorbitant dock fees in their ports. Some demand your blueprints. Some make you wait 6 months just to sell socks. Some take a little off the top when you offload. Others force the people working the docks to pay. Some promote hidden hands to keep other pirates away. And others stab you in the back with secret agreements with other pirates. It's all smiles at the Pirate Summit. They drink imported rum on piles of gold and talk about rules-based order. Until one pirate flipped the table. The other captains laughed at first. Then they got nervous because he wasn't apologizing. After all, free trade is never free if you are the only one paying to protect it. His buccaneer nation was paying for everyone else's treasure hunts. Yet the other pirates just kept making deals behind their back. He rolls out tariffs like cannonballs. The other pirates scream, "But this isn't how we do things."
Exactly.
Some called him a disruptor, others a necessary storm. Some said the waves would capsize the fleet, but instead, the winds shifted. Deals once thought impossible were struck. This wasn't about ego, it's about refusing to be the mark at the table anymore. This world is full of pirates, but Captain Marga just walked in.
It's the kind of thing they do. And one of the problems we have with AI, it's both good and bad. If something happens really bad, just blame AI. But also they create things, it works both ways. If something happens that's really bad, maybe I'll have to just blame AI. But there's truth to it because I see so many phony things.
It's a real movie. People are dying in different places, in different situations. But it's the least amount of deaths to flip the world over from the psych ward that we had to what we have coming. Any other option, according to their calculations with their, down on level 42 at Groom Lake, Area 51, wherever it is, Operation Looking Glass, says that anything else would have been worse. And JFK said the inevitable was coming. And the operators of, the DARPA, Operation Looking Glass program in 2012 realized no matter what they did, positive or negative, to change us off our course, what was coming was the inevitable. What was coming is something they could not stop. And again, that's why Q says nothing can stop what is coming, 316 John. 316 gives us clarity that it's really going on because it's one of the hardest things to believe in the history of the world. But it all makes sense if people do the homework and spend the time and figure it all out. And we all figured it out, all of us. People that don't even know they're part of the team because they put out a piece of information. They know nothing about me, know nothing about Jumanji, but they put out a piece of information that I used to help tell the story. So
this is mind-blowing. A 7th grader spent her summer building a presidential family tree, and she discovered that every single United States president, with the exception of one, were all related. And all of them, every single one of them, are descendants of one single person, the former King of England, John Lackland, who signed the Magna Carta in 1215. Nobody had put this together before because most genealogists only focused on the male side of the family. But she went went ahead and put together the male and female lineage of every single president and discovered that every one of them are related, except for Martin Van Buren. This is something that definitely makes you look at the big picture a little bit differently. Check this out.
George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, William Howard Taft, and President Barack Obama. One young girl traced them all back to one common ancestor.
They're all cousins and all grandsons of John Lackland.
It's the first family tree of its kind. Pouring through more than 500,000 names for months, 12-year-old Bridge Ann d'Avignon discovered that all the U.S. presidents, except Martin Van Buren, are related to the former King of England, John Lackland Plantagenet.
Mildred Reed is his first great-grandmother on George Washington. Obama, Mildred Reed, is the 10th great-grandmother.
She started with George Washington, but unlike other professional genealogists that only...
Let me ask you a question. Does the technology exist within our federal government and intelligence agencies to censor an individual across multiple platforms and the internet, utilizing existing technology? The answer is yes, in different ways that don't happen for other accounts. Weird, isn't it? What if this technology that the NSA has had the ability to hide entire topics on the internet, and that this technology not only could access the ability to censor and hide this content, it could do so without being caught by the websites. It could access it and hide you from the world without you even knowing it, without them being able to detect it. What if it has the ability to amplify messaging on a particular topic across multiple platforms and the entire internet? Would that happen? Would they do that? Would they do that with George Floyd? Cause riots and chaos? It has the ability to hide entire narratives or amplify, make you feel that you don't matter, that people don't agree with you, that they don't like you, they don't like what you're saying, and it chips away at your self-belief and self-esteem. They can isolate you, they can single you out, and it makes it easier to psyop you. You notice discrepancies in the matrix because they don't have the technology to replace God, and they don't have AI sophisticated enough to replace your intuition. No matter what they do, no matter what they try, they can't get rid of that. They can't break people like that. That's why they've tried to turn people away from faith, because your faith and your discernment and your intuition make you more impervious to their psyops. And that's why they've been trying to hide and destroy Christianity. They don't want you to see the truth.